it's Lexi. I was just thinking I wanted to do another one of these little chill vlog things, but I'm just using the camera today because I don't really feel like editing this. I'm just gonna see where this goes and we'll see if it happens again. But I've been thinking about my ability to trust after leaving the organization and just how I generally feel. And on one hand, this is a realization I had really early on in the journey, but now I just find myself like really processing it, if that makes sense. So I'm just really starting to feel like such a weirdo. Just like everywhere I go, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm such a freak. Nobody's like me. And I realize like what I'm telling myself is literally that I'm no part of the world. And it's like, well, yeah, actually that kind of makes sense. If you grew up constantly hearing you're no part of the world, you'll believe that, which is all sort of gone into my general ability to believe anything as it is. Like, I talked about this in the last video, but I stopped believing, or I had cognitive dissonance like from a very young age, where it's like, I don't really feel like I agree with like anything anyone's saying, but everyone's saying it's the truth, so they probably know better than me, and like I'll just fall into line. And which is really something weird, because I'm like, how does everyone feel? Because I desperately wanted to just fall in line and believe what everyone believes, but I didn't feel it. And I'm wondering if like other people just sort of accept that feeling and move on, which I guess they do, because I think I mentioned this before, but Bob's been watching a lot of Dan McClellan, and he talks about like dogma a lot, about like believing things and not believing things. And it's like, okay, well, I just wasn't built like that, I guess. I can't just like go with a dogma just because. At least that's what I'm feeling like. So now I'm trying to like just stop feeling like I'm no part of the world. Like, we're all just in the world. Like, it's fine. Like, this is a planet. We occupy it. It's not like, it doesn't have to be this deep. But it feels this deep. And okay, this is kind of, it's kind of weird and kind of silly to bring up now, but I guess I'll just sort of talk about it. With being like skeptical of things and then being told not to believe it, I'm at this weird stage where I don't know if I really know how I feel when I believe something. Like, on one hand, I do feel loved by my partner. I believe he loves me. I believe, we love each other and it's good. But then part of me is like, maybe that's not true. Like, I have like that same nagging suspicion I had when I was younger. And then it's like, wait, do I really believe it, or do I not believe it? Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. That's why I'm not. This is all sort of still coming together for me. I don't have like a thoughtful essay for you. I don't have any really tips either. I'm just sort of acknowledging this sensation and trying to overcome it, and I'm wondering if any of you deal with this. Like, do you still like actually feel like you're no part of the world? How did you stop doing that? Because on one hand, I tell myself like, it's fine. Like, everyone's got a bunch of stuff going on. Even if you are like the biggest weirdo in the room, it'll be fine. Like, no one's going to like chase me out or something. And then, okay, actually, this is a good spot for me to put this, because I was like, I want to make like an Instagram post or something for this, and I don't know what to do with it. So I'm just going to do this, and then I'll clip this part to make a reel or something later. Okay, so I was looking at a JW library, and they have these like activities for kids, and I'll just like put some pictures of them up there. And like, I like, okay, so you could do these things, which is just like make a diorama of a Bible scene. There's some coloring pages, and there are the songs to sing. And like, not even that much. It's just a couple things. And so I'm like, is this really all we have to like get through the bunker days? And I was like, I mean, honestly, yeah, that's like really like on par. Like everything has to be so solemn. I remember one time I had a Bible study which was honestly, that's something I could really go into. That whole experience of me being like, I think I was like 12 and this other girl was 12, and like we went in door to door. I don't know why her family agreed to this study. It's so strange to me because it was on and off for years until one day she moved away. Or maybe she didn't move away. Maybe they've been trying to get rid of me for years. And then that just happened. I don't know. But I was just... One time she actually came with us to a meeting, and I remembered pulling her to the side, and I was like, I forget how this even came up, but for whatever reason, I just launched into this list. I was like, look, so like we don't celebrate birthdays, really any holidays, we don't do this, we don't do that. I just was listing all the things that we do not do at all. And then my dad pulled me aside and said, hey, you know, I get what you're doing. I appreciate that. But, like, you don't... I think basically the advice is, like, you don't need to sell it like that. That's a lot to, like, front load to somebody. And, like, fair enough, I guess, for, like, what we're trying to do. But then also, like, you see, those are the sorts of experiences and encounters that make you start to feel like something's amiss here, you know? I really got more like perky in this half because I guess that's fair. Like I was like somber in the beginning and now I'm just silly, I guess. But yeah, okay. So part of me wants to talk about that some more. Part of me doesn't. I guess let me know if you're curious because I was so bad at preaching. I had like a few return visits, but I must have always exuded the vibe of like, you don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. Check you later. You know, that was my whole thing. But I had this study when I was in middle school, which so many things, not so many things. This isn't like a Tana Mojo story time video. It's not that crazy. But walking through that process with me having my own doubts, trying to bring someone else in, it was such a strange... I look back on that, it feels like centuries ago, and I'm like, what were any of us doing? We were all just like playing religious pretend, I think. Or maybe they really did want to know, and I just wasn't the person to tell them. But then that always brings me back to that you can water it, but only, God can make it grow. So I was like, that sort of took me out of the equation, I guess. I just sort of internalized that as, well, as long as I go and knock, if they really want it, they'll really take it. And so I wasn't a very good witness, I guess is the moral of the story we keep coming back to, which makes me feel so bad because I really wanted to be, but I'm really bad at doing things that I don't see much point in. It's like, okay, that just seems pointless. Like, why would, if he'll just do it, then he could just have done it. And then it's like, well, we have to do it. But then I was like, but why? I think I was like in high school when I was like, wouldn't it be better for God to just make the rocks sing? Because I feel like people would listen more if like things you didn't expect to say things said things. But like on TV, they'll make like, oh, the Jehovah Witnesses are knocking at your door. So like they know we're coming and they're not just becoming witnesses on their own instantly. So I was like, I feel like a better marketing plan, would have been that. Okay. this officially broke up into like different rants and rambles of my so-called witness life. I'm so sorry, Evan. I'm like really into that reference. Okay. Also, in other news, just like a creative endeavor of mine, I'll just share with you guys. I made a webcomic. We're releasing it. It's on Webtoons. I think it's really nice. It's inspired by some of my processing journey, but it's mostly just like a fun story that I've been working on since, honestly, this is so sad. So I'm 30, which is like, I'm gonna say old, but like, understand, like, I don't like feel like I'm like inches from the grave, but I can't remember if I was 17 years old when I started writing this, or if I started writing it in the year 2017. So I think I was 17 years old. To be honest, I am pretty sure that's it, but I've also just told people when talking about it that I think it was 2017, so now I don't know what the truth is, and I didn't mean to lie to those people. Golly, that is such a weird not pitch. But anyway, I'll put the link in the bio. If you're like curious, then you feel, please check it out. If not, keep it moving, and I never said anything about it. Okay, bye.